Look closely at your kitchen, not tomorrow, not later, right now, because the place where your food is prepared is the place where your energy is created. Have you ever noticed something strange? Two people earn the same income, live in similar houses, work equally hard, yet one family always struggles, while the other feels stable, calm, and abundant. Same money, same effort, different energy. In Buddhism, this is no accident. The Buddha taught that environment shapes the mind, and the mind shapes destiny. Your kitchen is not just a cooking space, it is where life force enters your body every single day. If this space carries neglect, decay, clutter, or unconscious habits, that energy doesn't stay in the kitchen. It enters your food, your thoughts, your decisions, your future. Many people pray for wealth, they meditate for peace, they work endlessly, but they unknowingly keep poverty alive in the most sacred place of their home. Ancient Buddhist monks were extremely careful about their eating spaces, not because of superstition, but because what surrounds nourishment determines the quality of life. Today, I'm going to reveal 8 things you must remove from your kitchen, things that silently attract bad luck, stagnation, stress, and financial struggle. These are not myths. They are deep psychological and energetic truths rooted in Buddhist awareness. Watch till the end, because the last one is the most ignored, yet the most destructive. And before we begin, like this video, subscribe to the channel, because the wisdom shared here isn't common. It's life-changing. Now, let's clean your kitchen, and with it, your fate. 1. Broken or chipped utensils. A cracked plate, a chipped cup, a spoon with a loose handle, a bowl with a small fracture that you've learned to ignore. You see them every day, you use them every day, and that is exactly why they are dangerous. Most people don't throw them away because they tell themselves a familiar lie: it still works. But Buddhism doesn't judge life by whether something works. It looks deeper. It asks what state of mind something creates when you repeatedly accept it. In Buddhist wisdom, broken objects are not just damaged things. They are symbols of tolerance toward lack. Every time you eat from a cracked plate, your subconscious receives a quiet message. This is enough. I don't need better. Not consciously, but deeply. And the mind learns through repetition, not logic. You may not realize it, but food is the most intimate exchange between the outer world and your inner world. What you eat becomes your body. What surrounds that food becomes your psychological environment. When nourishment comes from something damaged, your mind learns to associate survival with compromise. Slowly, invisibly, you begin accepting less. Not just in objects, but in life. Less respect, less peace, less stability, less abundance. Buddhism teaches that sufficiency is not about having more, it is about honoring wholeness. A cracked plate is wholeness violated, and when wholeness is violated repeatedly, the mind adapts by lowering its expectations. This is how scarcity programs itself, not through poverty, but through acceptance. People who live surrounded by broken things often struggle to believe they deserve better opportunities, better relationships, better outcomes, not because they are weak, but because their environment trained them quietly. Eating from damaged utensils normalizes the idea that imperfection is permanent. That damage is acceptable, that repair is unnecessary, that replacement is wasteful. And this belief does not stop in the kitchen, it enters your financial decisions, your self-worth, your tolerance for struggle. In Buddhist psychology, this is called unconscious conditioning, where the mind absorbs values without words. A chipped cup whispers, "Don't ask for more." A cracked plate says, make do, endure, accept. And over time, you do. Monks avoided broken utensils not out of superstition, but out of mental hygiene. They understood that the mind mirrors what it repeatedly sees and touches. When you begin your day eating from something whole, clean, and intact, your mind receives a different message. Life supports me. I deserve stability. I am not surviving. I am living. This subtle shift changes how you walk into the world. Wholeness creates confidence. Confidence attracts opportunity. Opportunity invites abundance. But brokenness teaches endurance, not growth. If your kitchen contains chipped or cracked utensils, this is not about guilt. It is about awareness. Look at them carefully. Ask yourself honestly, what am I tolerating in my life because it still works? Then remove them. Not angrily, not fearfully, but consciously. Because when you remove broken objects from your nourishment space, you are making a silent vow to your mind. I no longer eat from lack. And that vow changes everything. Wholeness attracts abundance, not because of luck, but because the mind finally believes it deserves it. 2. Expired or stale food. Old spices pushed to the back of the shelf, grains kept far beyond their time, packets that expired months ago, but you tell yourself, it's fine, I might need it someday. This habit feels harmless, even responsible. But in Buddhist philosophy, what you keep reveals what you fear. The Buddha taught that clinging, not loss, is the root of suffering. And expired food is clinging made visible. It is the physical form of fear. Fear of shortage, fear of waste, fear of tomorrow not providing enough. When you keep stale or expired food, your kitchen becomes a storage space for anxiety, not nourishment. Anxiety. Every time you open that cabinet, your subconscious registers a silent message. I must hold on. The future is uncertain. And the mind believes what it sees repeatedly. In Buddhist psychology, the past is considered dead energy. It has already served its purpose. Keeping it alive disturbs the natural flow of life. Expired food is the past sitting on your shelf. It reminds your nervous system that abundance is fragile, that you must hoard, save, and cling just in case life fails you. This belief doesn't stay in the kitchen, it spills into money decisions, into relationships, into opportunities you hesitate to take because you fear losing what little you have. This is how financial anxiety begins, not with lack of money, but with lack of trust. A kitchen filled with stale food reflects a mind afraid of tomorrow, and fear contracts life. Buddhism teaches that freshness is a form of respect for the present moment. When you cook with fresh ingredients, you are telling your mind, I trust life to provide again. I do not need to cling. I am supported. But when you rely on expired food, you are living in survival mode. Survival mode is not peace, it is tension disguised as practicality. Many people who struggle financially are not reckless, they are afraid. Afraid to let go, afraid to replace, afraid to discard. And this fear slowly shapes their reality. In Buddhism, letting go is not loss. It is alignment. When monks emptied their bowls daily, they did so to reset the mind, to remind themselves that each day is new and abundance is renewed through trust. Your kitchen should breathe. It should not feel heavy. It should not feel crowded with maybe someday. Old food creates stagnation. Stagnation slows momentum. Momentum is necessary for progress. When energy stops moving, money stops moving, opportunities stop moving, life stops expanding. Clearing expired food is not about being wasteful. It is about releasing fear. It is a declaration to your subconscious, I choose flow over hoarding. When you throw away stale food, you are not discarding nourishment. You are discarding scarcity thinking. You are telling life, I trust you enough to begin fresh. And life responds to trust, not immediately, not magically, but consistently. Clear your shelves, clear your fear, clear your attachment to yesterday, because freshness is not just about food. Freshness invites flow. 3. Dull or rusty knives. A knife that refuses to cut, a blade that drags instead of slices, rust spreading quietly along the edge. You may not think twice about it. You tell yourself it's only a tool. But in Buddhism, tools reflect the state of the mind that uses them. A dull knife is not just inconvenient, it is symbolic. It represents intention without power. Every action in life requires a clean decision, a beginning, a clear cut. Buddhist teachings emphasize right action, not rushed, not hesitant, but precise. A knife that struggles to cut mirrors a life that struggles to move forward. Think about it. When a blade is dull, you apply more force. You strain, you get frustrated, you blame the food instead of the tool. This is exactly how people live when their inner discipline has rusted. They push harder, they exhaust themselves, they wonder why progress feels painful. Rust does not appear overnight, it forms slowly, through neglect. In Buddhism, neglect is not laziness, it is loss of awareness. A rusty knife represents ignored responsibility, postponed effort, skills left unattended. And the mind absorbs this message every time you use it. Struggle is normal. Effort must hurt. Nothing moves smoothly. This belief becomes your reality. People with dull tools often develop dull confidence. They hesitate, they overthink, they delay decisions because every cut feels uncertain. A sharp knife, on the other hand, does not fight the moment. It moves with ease. Buddhism teaches that clarity creates momentum. When the mind is sharp, action flows naturally. But when discipline is neglected, even simple tasks feel heavy. Rust also represents decay hidden in plain sight. You may wash the knife, store it properly, but if you never sharpen it, it still rots. This is how habits decay. From the outside, life looks functional. Inside, efficiency is dying. In Buddhist psychology, this is dangerous because stagnation feels like effort, and effort feels like life. But true life moves smoothly. A dull blade makes you rush. A rushed mind makes mistakes. Mistakes reinforce doubt, and doubt blocks progress. Monks maintain their tools with care, not because of perfectionism, but because every tool trains the mind. A sharp blade teaches decisiveness, clean action, confidence in movement. When you sharpen a knife, you sharpen attention. When you remove rust, you remove neglect. Your kitchen becomes a mirror. If your knives are dull, ask yourself, where have I stopped refining myself? Where have you accepted struggle as normal? Where have you been pushing instead of aligning? A life that cuts cleanly does not force outcomes. It removes resistance. Sharp tools, sharp mind, smooth progress. And it begins with the blade you hold every day. 4. Cluttered counters. Too many jars stacked without purpose. Appliances you no longer use but never remove. Bills, containers, bags, tools, all sharing the same space. At first glance, it looks like nothing, just a busy kitchen, just a lack of time. But in Buddhism, clutter is never neutral. Clutter is mental noise made visible. The Buddha taught that the mind mirrors its environment. When your surroundings are crowded, your thoughts cannot settle. A cluttered kitchen counter silently trains your brain to accept confusion as normal. Every time you step into that space, your nervous system is forced to process dozens of unnecessary signals. This creates constant low-level stress, even if you don't consciously feel it. And stress clouds judgment. Buddhist monks lived with almost nothing, not to punish themselves, but to remove distraction. They understood something modern life forgets. Clarity is power. A cluttered counter blocks not just movement, it blocks decision-making. When the mind is overloaded, it avoids choices, it delays action, it hesitates. This is how financial confusion begins. People with cluttered kitchens often feel unsure about money, even when they earn enough. Not because they are irresponsible, but because their environment keeps them mentally scattered. Too many objects compete for attention. Nothing feels prioritized. Clutter creates the illusion of busyness without progress. In Buddhist psychology, attachment is a form of suffering. Keeping things just in case attaches you to uncertainty. Each unused item whispers, "You might need me someday," and that someday keeps you living in fear of lack. A cluttered counter is a shrine to hesitation. It tells your subconscious, nothing is finished, everything is pending, life is unresolved. This unsettled state spills into your financial life. You delay investments, you avoid difficult decisions, you stay stuck in comfort zones that no longer serve you. Clear space creates decisiveness. When counters are open, the mind breathes. Suddenly, movement feels possible. Cooking becomes intentional. Choices feel lighter. In Buddhism, space is sacred. Empty space allows awareness to expand. Monks would clean their eating areas daily, not for hygiene alone, but to reset the mind. A clean counter is a silent meditation. It tells your brain, you are in control. You can begin. Nothing is blocking you. Financial clarity follows mental clarity. When you remove unnecessary objects, you remove unnecessary thoughts. Clear space, clear decisions, clear outcomes. And it begins with the surface you touch every day. 5. Open or dirty trash bins. Rotting leftovers, peels, wrappers, waste sitting openly in the space where food is prepared. You may think, it's just trash. I'll take it out later. But in Buddhism, what you keep near you is what your mind keeps returning to. Garbage is not neutral. Garbage represents what has finished its purpose, what no longer nourishes, what must leave. When trash remains open or dirty, it sends a powerful unconscious signal. Decay is acceptable. Your mind sees it, your senses register it. Even when you stop noticing consciously, your nervous system never stops responding. In Buddhist psychology, attention flows toward what is visible. And when waste is visible, the mind is trained to dwell on negativity, exhaustion, and decline. An open trash bin is not just unpleasant, it is mental contamination. Every time you cook near it, your body receives mixed messages. Nourishment beside decay, life beside waste. This contradiction creates inner tension, and tension quietly drains energy. People living with visible garbage often feel unusually tired, irritable, or unmotivated without knowing why. This is not coincidence. The Buddha taught mindful separation, clearly knowing what supports life and what harms it. When trash is left uncovered, there is no separation. The mind begins to blur boundaries. You start tolerating things that should not stay, not just in the kitchen, but in relationships, in habits, in financial decisions. You tolerate bad deals, unhealthy environments, situations that should have been discarded long ago, because your space trained you to accept waste. Garbage also carries the energy of neglect. A dirty bin signals postponed responsibility, and postponed responsibility slowly becomes guilt. Guilt drains confidence. Confidence is essential for progress. In Buddhism, decay is acknowledged, but never clung to. Monks disposed of waste immediately, not out of obsession with cleanliness, but to protect mental purity. They understood that decay pulls awareness downward. When trash is covered and removed regularly, your mind learns a vital lesson. I release what no longer serves me. This lesson is powerful. It teaches emotional detachment, financial discipline, psychological strength. A covered bin creates closure. Closure creates peace. And peace is fertile ground for growth. When waste is hidden and handled promptly, the kitchen feels lighter, the air feels clearer, the mind relaxes. This is not superstition. It is nervous system science wrapped in ancient wisdom. Your environment teaches you how to live. If your trash is open, your life feels unfinished. If it is dirty, your energy feels polluted. But when waste is respectfully contained and removed, your mind learns order. Covered bin, clean energy, and clean energy always moves forward. 6. Spilled salt, sugar, or grains left ignored. A few grains of rice scattered on the counter, salt spilled near the stove, sugar fallen on the floor, noticed but ignored. You tell yourself, it's nothing. I'll clean it later. But in Buddhist cultures, food is sacred, not because of superstition, but because every grain is a result of life, labor, and time. Ignoring spilled food is not a small act. It is a silent message to the mind. The Buddha taught that intention shapes reality, and what you overlook reveals what you value. When you see food wasted and choose to walk past it, your subconscious absorbs a dangerous lesson. Abundance is disposable. Not consciously, but deeply. Salt, sugar, and grains represent the most basic forms of nourishment. They are symbols of survival itself. When they fall and remain ignored, it trains the nervous system to treat resources casually. This habit does not stay in the kitchen. It grows. People who ignore small waste often leak energy elsewhere. Unused subscriptions, careless spending, lost opportunities. Not because they are careless, but because their environment trained them to underestimate small things. Buddhism teaches that great suffering and great wealth are both built from small actions repeated daily. A single grain seems insignificant until thousands are lost. Ignoring small abundance weakens respect, and respect is the foundation of prosperity. In ancient Buddhist monasteries, monks would pick up fallen grains one by one, not out of fear, but out of awareness. They understood something modern life forgets. How you treat the smallest thing determines how life treats you. Spilled food left unattended creates mental looseness. It whispers, details don't matter. And when details stop mattering, discipline erodes. Discipline is not harshness, it is attention, and attention is power. People who struggle financially often struggle with attention, not intelligence. They miss small leaks, they ignore minor inefficiencies, they underestimate the impact of daily habits. Ignoring spilled food programs this exact mindset. It trains the brain to overlook losses instead of preventing them. In Buddhist psychology, respect multiplies energy. When you clean immediately, you are not just cleaning, you are affirming value. You are telling your mind, what supports life matters. I do not waste what sustains me. This builds inner order, and inner order creates outer stability. Cleaning small spills instantly creates a rhythm of care. Care builds confidence. Confidence invites responsibility. Responsibility attracts growth. Those who disrespect small abundance never hold great abundance, not as punishment, but as natural law. Because greatness requires precision. Clean immediately. 7. A dirty or neglected stove. Grease layered over time. Burnt stains that never fully disappear. A stove you use every day, but rarely respect. You might see it as normal wear, just signs of cooking. But in Buddhist understanding, fire is never ordinary. Fire is transformation. It turns raw into edible, potential into reality, intention into action. That is why, in Buddhism, fire symbolizes right effort. The energy that moves life forward without force or hesitation. A dirty or neglected stove represents something deeply uncomfortable. Ambition that has been left unattended. When fire is surrounded by neglect, progress weakens. Every time you cook on a filthy stove, your subconscious absorbs a subtle message. Action is messy. Effort leads to exhaustion. Moving forward always costs too much. And slowly, momentum dies. Blocked progress rarely announces itself. It shows up as delay, as procrastination, as loss of urgency. This is exactly how neglected stoves train the mind. They normalize friction. Instead of clean movement, everything feels heavy. Buddhism teaches that effort must be maintained, not abandoned. Right effort is not constant struggle, it is consistent care. A stove left dirty suggests postponed responsibility. Postponed responsibility turns into self-doubt. Self-doubt erodes confidence, and confidence fuels ambition. People with neglected stoves often feel stuck without understanding why. They work hard, yet feel slow. They try, yet feel blocked. This is not coincidence. Your environment shapes your nervous system. A stove covered in grime signals danger to the brain. It activates stress responses. Stress shrinks focus, and without focus, progress scatters. Monks treated fire with respect, not worship, but awareness. They cleaned the hearth regularly because they understood that clean fire burns clean intention. When the stove is clean, action feels lighter. Cooking feels intentional. Movement feels purposeful. Cleaning the stove is not a chore. It is a reset. It tells your mind, I am ready to act. I am not afraid of effort. I maintain my power. This message changes behavior. Clean fire invites clarity. Clarity fuels direction. Direction creates momentum. Neglected fire dims desire. If your stove is dirty, ask yourself, where have I lost momentum? What ambition have I postponed? Do not judge yourself, just clean it. Because when fire is honored, life moves forward, not violently, but inevitably. 8. Mirrors or reflective surfaces facing food. This one is subtle, almost invisible, and because of that, powerful. A mirror near the dining space. A reflective cabinet door facing the stove. Glass surfaces that catch your movement while you eat. You don't question them. They look harmless, even decorative. But in Buddhist psychology, reflection without awareness creates illusion. Mirrors double what they face, not just visually, but psychologically. When food is reflected, desire is reflected. Every movement becomes repeated. Every bite becomes watched. Every sensation becomes amplified. The mind does not simply eat, it observes itself eating. This creates a split. Buddhism teaches that craving arises when awareness fractures. Instead of being present, the mind starts reacting to itself. Mirrors facing food intensify unconscious eating. You eat more than needed, faster than intended, without satisfaction. Not because you are hungry, but because desire has been doubled. Reflection feeds craving. This is why Buddhist monks ate without distraction. No mirrors, no reflections, no audience. They understood that nourishment requires singleness of attention. When the mind becomes self-aware during eating, it stops listening to the body. Satiety signals weaken, desire strengthens. This creates emotional dependence on food. People eat to feel complete, but reflection makes them feel divided. A mirror introduces comparison, even when alone. You become aware of your face, your posture, your appearance. Eating turns into performance. Performance destroys mindfulness. And without mindfulness, dissatisfaction grows. In Buddhism, illusion, Maya, is born from reflection mistaken for reality. Mirrors facing food encourage exactly this mistake. You see abundance, but feel emptiness. You consume, but remain unsatisfied. This dissatisfaction does not stay at the table, it spills into life. Unfulfilled desire creates restless ambition. Restless ambition creates anxiety. Anxiety fuels craving for more, money, validation, possessions. The cycle repeats. Removing reflective surfaces restores unity. When mirrors are removed, eating slows. Taste returns. Awareness deepens. The body feels heard. Mindful eating becomes meditation, and meditation dissolves craving. This is not decoration advice. It is psychological hygiene. If food faces reflection, illusion feeds illusion. Remove them, because mindful eating creates mindful living, and mindful living is freedom. As we conclude, your kitchen is speaking to your destiny every single day. Change the space where you eat, and you will change the life you live. This is not superstition. This is awareness. If this video opened your eyes, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who is struggling silently. Because sometimes, poverty doesn't start in the wallet. It starts in the kitchen.